Hello, I am so excited to present 4 steps to managing your dizziness from home by Dr. Madison Oak. Hello, my name is Dr. Madison Oak. I'm a vestibular physical therapist. I'm here to help you with all things dizziness and vertigo. Truly, nothing in the world makes me as happy as healing people from dizziness and helping them not feel dizzy 24/7 and helping people do more functional things with dizziness until we can get rid of that dizziness and just kind of all those steps of regaining your life again with dizziness. So, my name is Dr. Madison Oak. Again, I am at the Vertigo Doctor on Instagram. If you found this not on Instagram, that's where you can find me social media wise. And of course, where you can always reach out to me and things like that. I do have an email as well, which you'll get at the end. There are also some bonuses and some discounts if you stay till the very end towards healing your dizziness. So, today we are going to learn together what is dizziness and why does it happen? Is dizziness manageable? And what steps we can do to manage dizziness? Again, my name is Dr. Madison and I'm a vestibular physical therapist. I'm the owner of Oak Physical Therapy and Wellness, and I'm the founder of the Vertigo Doctor on Instagram and all other platforms, including the regular internet, and founder of Vestibular Group Fit. A little bit about me personally. I am a Californian, but I'm living in Wyoming, which is somewhere I'd never thought I would live, but absolutely love. I have a dog named Hugo. I'm also engaged. Maybe by the time you're watching this, I'm married to a man named what we call D on the internet. He does have a full name and he is a human, but we just refer to him as D on Instagram and things like that. And we own a dog together named Hugo. And I love to bake, ski, and just be outside. Living in Jackson Hole and being from California, I'm outside all the time. I love it. I'm a huge fan. My favorite outdoor activity is skiing or walking on the beach. Now, enough about me. Let's dive into dizziness. So, why did I create this masterclass? Why are you here? Why did I create the Vertigo Doctor? All of these things. Vestibular care is so inaccessible, and maybe you know this already. It's confusing, it's expensive, and it's really hard to find providers who are passionate about dizziness, especially as passionate about dizziness as I am. I have always known I wanted to be a physical therapist, but the small niche of vestibular physical therapy I knew literally nothing about when I was first starting out in PT school and even before that. Vestibular rehab, I didn't know about, but I knew about neurological physical therapy. And I was pretty sure I wanted to do that because, little known fact, when I was a junior in high school, I interned in a physical therapy clinic and I was on the orthopedic side. We were doing shoulders, which I love a shoulder, do not get me wrong, but not as much of a vestibular system, right? But there was this neuro PT on the other side of the clinic. She always was wearing comfy pants. She never had shoes on. She was like, they were like rolling around with balls on the floor and like doing all this fun stuff. And I was like, I need to find a way to do that. So in 2015, so way past high school, I interned in Nepal at a hospital for people with post stroke specifically. And I was fascinated with 3 systems of balance. And then fast forward 4 years later, PT school internships. I had an internship at Austin, Texas, that was revolving all around the vestibular system. And at first I was like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know if I can do this. And then I was just enamored. Like, I am literally obsessed with the vestibular system. So shout out to my CI there and to that clinic. I was first seeing just how far people were coming for vestibular rehab and for specialists from the outskirts of Texas to Austin, Texas. And I was like, wow, like, this is kind of crazy. And people were getting so much better. And I was like, how are you going from debilitatingly dizzy to feeling like $1 million? Like, where is the disconnect? Why this isn't happening for everyone? So people would get discharged, but sometimes they'd have to come back again a few months later, a year later for a tune-up. And I was like, there has to be a better way to do this. So during the pandemic, I thought maybe, hey, I can bridge this gap because A, we're not going into healthcare clinics unnecessarily. Dizziness really spiked in the pandemic for a lot of reasons that we're not going to get into today. And although I'd previously found vestibular care, I was not able to provide vestibular care to everyone. And the people who were able to see me were paying my boss, not me, thousands of dollars to be able to literally drive me out to the Hamptons and then drive me back to New York City where I was living during the pandemic. And I was like, this is crazy town. Like, this is these people should not be the only people who get to access vestibular care. So right then and there, I was like, I need to devise a plan. I need to figure out how I am going to help people with dizziness. And a couple years later, we are sitting here together today, and I'm really excited to talk to you about this. I have devised a plan for you to manage your dizziness better and more easily. That plan is based on 4 pillars that all work together. Now, doing just one thing for dizziness or doing just another thing for dizziness, that typically doesn't work for people. It's never just one med or just one thing or just one exercise. It's always a conglomeration of things. And my favorite conglomeration of things are these 4 pillars. They are mindset, education, movement, and support. Again, mindset, how you think about your symptoms. Education, what do you know about your symptoms? How do you know what's going on here? Movement, how do we move our bodies in a way that actually supports our vestibular system? And support, how do we get support from people who are like me, and how do I be held accountable appropriately? So let's start by meeting my patients and clients. I have 3 specific stories here. Number 1 is Michelle, a mom of 2 living with her husband and 2 young children. Her symptoms began postpartum after her second child, and it took her 3 years to get diagnosed with vestibular migraine and 3PD. At this point, she is doing so well. She is working full time. She owns a business with her husband. She is driving her kids to and from school, all their activities, cooking, cleaning, changing sheets, doing whatever that you need to do when you are a mom of 2. One day I will know about these things. I don't yet. But she's doing all of it. No dizziness, no problemo. Next, Joyce. She's an empty nester, mother of 2 as well. Her symptoms began after vestibular neuritis attack and in a really high stress situation. So she has a history of classic migraine for over 30 years. She's like, I've been dealing with migraine for a long time, but I've never really had dizziness before. And then she got this vestibular neuritis attack, which is a viral infection of your inner ear, and then was diagnosed with vestibular neuritis, vestibular migraine, and triple PD, that persistent postural perceptual dizziness. There is another masterclass about 3PD that you can take as well if you'd like. And then lastly, Alex is a college student under high stress with no significant health history, started getting dizzy in classes and went to University Health, was unable to get any answers and visited over 5 doctors, which for some people seems like a ton, for some people feels like not a ton, but in University Health, it's pretty like condensed good system. So those 5 doctors were finally able to give her a diagnosis of vestibular migraine and potential 3PD. At this point, Alex is back to going to class, studying, hanging out with her friends. She does have a couple of different things she's changed in her life, lifestyle modifications, but she actually got straight A's last semester. So from feeling like she was unable to study, unable to do whatever she wanted to do, literally to having straight A's. And she went on a really long trip that required a plane flight to another country with her mom and her sister after the end of the last semester. And it did take her a day or so to kind of feel like she was back to 100% after that, but she was about 80% of her normal baseline when she got back, which is pretty good because going on a long trip like that really takes it out of you no matter who you are. And then Joyce, I forgot to touch on, she is back to being grandma in charge. She has VN, VM, and 3PD, and she is taking care of her grandkids, and she is doing all the fun grandma things she hoped she would do. So truly, all 3 of these people are thriving with their vestibular disorder, and that's what you're going to learn today, how to thrive with a vestibular disorder as a part of your life. Because once you're diagnosed with a vestibular disorder, the answer is it is not about how do I never get dizzy again. It's how do I live with this chronic illness as a part of my life and be as less dizzy as possible, be the least bit dizzy as possible, and say, you know what, if I do get dizzy at some point in my life, it's okay, I'm safe, and I know what to do. So how did they do it? These 4 pillars, they truly are incredibly effective. Number 1 is mindset. The dizzy, anxious, dizzy cycle is so real, and not all dizziness is from anxiety, but a lot of dizziness drives anxiety. So you might get diagnosed with vestibular disorder and then have a huge spike in anxiety, and then all your doctors say, well, it's just anxiety, or you feel like anxiety is the worst part of this. We're going to break that cycle together. We're going to work on the way you think about your symptoms in order to break the cycle. Mindset, mindset, mindset. I cannot stress enough just how important it is and the huge shift that people make. Even if their diagnosis isn't under control yet, they're still able to be more functional and more part of their lives and communities and families with mindset shifts. So that's number one. Next is going to be movement. Movement, because people who exercise and move their bodies are statistically, in research, less dizzy than those who do not. So, finding a way to move that you like and that brings you joy is going to help you connect with your body, start building trust, start building confidence and security in your inner self. And that kind of inner self, that again, is going to go back to that mindset piece, but you do have to move your body. It promotes neuroplasticity, it releases happy hormones, it does phenomenal things for your body. It's like drinking water, eating good food, and exercising. Those are three things you have to do for your body. And we're going to modify it for you. So if you're a person who's sitting here like, I cannot exercise, I'm about to close out of this video, stop. This program is going to help you get up off the couch, whether it is we are literally doing 5 bridges with our hips in bed, or we're doing literally an exercise class seated in bed or seated on the couch or sitting on the chair, or you're like, you know what, has been a while since I've exercised, but I'm still going to figure out a way for myself to move. And I think I can do that from a standing position for a few minutes, and then building that up to bigger tolerance. It's all about starting small, scaling to what you need, and building it back up again. I have taken hundreds of people through this process and it's incredibly effective. You just have to start small and work your way up. We have classes like Tai Chi, Pilates, yoga, strength, ballet, yoga nidra. There's high intensity, there's low intensity. There are POTS specific classes if you have postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, as well as a vestibular disorder. And then there are also, there's a return to run program, a history of cardio workouts. There's just so many ways to move your body, which is so amazing. There are all the teachers in class have also been either educated like extensively on health needs and vestibular disorders, or have a vestibular disorder themselves. So one of those two categories, which is so awesome. Next, education. Knowledge is power. The more you understand about your vestibular disorder, the more empowered you'll be to access the right treatments and feel better faster. Accessing the right treatments and finding the right doctors is one of the huge portions of having a vestibular disorder, and knowing how to talk to your doctor. Let's say you live in a rural community and you're like, I literally do not know where to begin. There's 2 PCPs and like 1 neurologist in my community. That's where I live. That's how I do my healthcare personally, right? But I know how to advocate for myself with my specific diagnoses and saying, hey, I need this, hey, I need this test, hey, I need that. And you're going to learn that exact same thing. You're also going to learn about your vestibular disorder. We're going to stop the doom scrolling. We're going to stop feeling like, hey, we're helpless on the internet, and start going towards feeling better and getting the right stuff. And then support. You are never, ever, ever alone, and you should know that. Having someone to hold you accountable that also knows what you're going through at the same time is such an empowering thing. And that's what I want to help you with. There are coaching calls as a part of this twice a month, that you're always able to come ask questions to, or watch the recording, or both. This group is truly different than the other vestibular disorder support groups. And this is not like I'm not like other girls kind of a thing. It literally is not like any of the other ones. And I take a lot of time and a lot of effort to make sure it is a forward thinking kind of can do attitude kind of a group. If you are having a hard day, there is room for that as well. So again, going back to this mindset, shifting your mindset about your dizziness and vertigo is the first step to reducing your vestibular symptoms. If you are consistently asking yourself, why is this happening? Why is this happening? Why is this happening? And thinking about your symptoms. Is this going to make me dizzy? Is that going to make me dizzy? If I do this, is this going to make me worse? I'm super hyper vigilant about my symptoms. I think about the dizziness all the time. We're going to stop that. We're going to stop the fear of staying home alone, of driving, of going out, of going to the grocery store, of being able to pick up your kids and spin around to the kitchen and dance with them. We're stopping that fear. Okay, we want to talk all about neuroplasticity. There's two kinds. There's positive neuroplasticity, which is the kind we want. That's how we get less dizzy, and negative neuroplasticity, which is the kind we don't want. This is the kind of neuroplasticity where we say, we don't want this chronic dizziness in our brain. We're going to work out of that. We're going to talk all about 3PD, about neural circuit dizziness. We're going to talk about all of these things and apply them every day. You have to remember your brain is still like a toddler and it needs to be reminded hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times before it makes a difference. Like if you have kids, think about this. How many times did you have to tell your toddler, please say please and thank you, say please and thank you before it's stuck? Years, right? And I'm not saying because you have much more cognitive abilities as an adult than you do as a toddler that it's going to take years, but I'm saying it's going to take a long time to do and a lot of effort. Again, this is not years probably, but it is going to take weeks to months, and that's okay. Give it that time. We want to be able to distinguish between these two types of neuroplasticity and really enforce that positive neuroplasticity, even for a second, if you can, even for a minute, if you can, even if you have to go back to that negative thought process, that's okay. We're saying, I'm okay. I've been here before. I know what to do about this. I know what to do to help myself in this moment. And this will help calm your brain down because dizziness, it's just an alert signal. It's just your brain saying, hey, something's wrong. Something's going on back here. And you have to say, you know what? That's not helpful anymore. Thank you, but that's not helpful. And that's perfect. So over time, again, and with tons of repetitions, especially with 3PD, especially with any form of chronic dizziness, whether it's MDDS, whether it's 3PD, whatever it is, you do need these parts of this to heal. So yes. Part two is movement. So again, back to this movement. And I know movement is something that it can be a really triggering topic for people with vestibular disorders because we think, hey, if I move my head, I'm going to get dizzy. If I move my body, I'm going to get dizzy. And movement, we have to reframe from exercise is running a 5K. We need to reframe that to exercise is any way that I move my body. Exercise doesn't have to look like running. It can look like Tai Chi. It can look like strength training. It can look like ballet. It can look like a walk. It can look like 5 minutes of, I don't know, really gentle movement with your body, right? All of these things strengthen your vestibular system and strengthen your body. And every single one of these movements, from squats and deadlifts to Tai Chi movements, like spread the horse's mane in Tai Chi, or part the mane in Tai Chi, I think is what it's called. Every single one of them relates to your vestibular system. This is because your vestibular system is what is literally in charge of spatial awareness. It's in charge of making sure you know if you're moving fast or slow, accelerating or decelerating. It's in charge of making sure you know where you are in space, spatial awareness. Hey, did I turn my head? Did I move around? And so the more that you can move in a safe way, the better your vestibular system is going to feel. And again, you're going to be able to scale and modify all of these to your needs. Every single teacher knows how to scale and modify movements, and a lot of them actually have vestibular disorders. So there is going to be something for you. I can guarantee that. 3, education. The more you know about your vestibular disorder, the more empowered you'll feel to do something about it, right? So the more you understand dizziness, the less fearful and the less scary it is. And this breaks the dizzy, anxious, dizzy cycle. I know we were like, mindset, dizzy, anxious, dizzy cycle. So is education. You need to know what vestibular migraine is. You need to know what vestibular neuritis is. You need to know what 3PD is. And the more you understand these diagnoses without needing to go down a Google rabbit hole, because a lot of Google is factually incorrect about vestibular disorders, the more you can do that, the more you'll understand your vestibular disorder and the more empowered you'll be to feel like, hey, you know what? I actually can do this. This is actually not so bad. And so reducing your dizziness is required as a part of education, or education is a required part of reducing your dizziness. And again, please stop going down the Google rabbit hole if that sounds like you and it's building more fear and things like that. That is a very questionable not questionable, but that's not the best way of going about it. It's just not. And that is okay. It's okay if you've done that and there's zero judgment. It's scary to have a vestibular disorder. You want to find answers, but instead of needing to scroll through when scrolling makes you feel dizzier, just watch these videos, listen to them like podcasts, read the information, whatever way you like to ingest material, it is there. You can watch, you can listen, you can read, you can ask questions to me 24/7 and to Dr. Jenna at the same time. Truly, it is the best way to educate yourself on your vestibular disorder. And number 4, again, support. Walking this journey with others who understand you and have the same mindset as you is so important. You're going to get 24/7 access from support from me, from Dr. Jenna, and from over 350 other vestibular warriors, literally just like you. All of these other vestibular warriors are like, you know what? I'm taking this into my hands. I have the right care. I have the right toolbox, and I know what to do when I get dizzy now. And that kind of support, if you don't know what to do yet, being able to ask and be like, hey, this happened today. What do I do about it? That is the best way to go about getting information and feeling like you're being supported. The Facebook support group, I swear to you, it is unlike any other Facebook support group on this planet. I moderate it so that it is not just feeling like, oh my gosh, I have all these symptoms and they're never going to go away and I don't know what to do. It is actionable, it is question oriented, and it is win oriented. If you're having a bad day and you need to vent, you can go to the chat room for that, no problemo. But the main group, the main wall itself is designed so that you see positive and encouraging things and you can ask questions at any time you'd like. You also get access to 2 coaching calls a month. They're each an hour long, and they're going to be any question you possibly want to ask me, literally at all. One is at noon Eastern time and one is at 6 p.m. Eastern time, and that is designed for one in the evening for the US and one in the evening for the UK/European members. And usually people from like Australia and things like that can also make one or the other, which is obviously really important as well. So I want you to stop for a second. I want you to imagine why you're doing this. What brought you to this class today? There is an exercise called 7 layers deep, which I'm adding to vestibular group fit right now. And it is so important. You want to ask yourself why 7 times. Why do you want to not be dizzy anymore? Maybe it's so, I don't know, because dizzy is annoying, right? Why is dizziness annoying? If you ask yourself that 7 times, it gets to a really deep and really intense answer. Typically, it's about independence, or maybe it's about seeing your kids more, or feeling like you've lost something in your community or something like that. That why is so important, and it is driving you to take this masterclass, and it will drive you through your healing in vestibular group fit. So once you imagine that, I want you to imagine a life where you can plan a trip with your family without thinking it's going to be a disaster because of your dizziness, because it's not. You can travel. Every single one of my patients flies, literally every single one. I do not have a single patient, and I see incredibly complex patients who can't travel. Every single one does. So you can travel again. What if you could go to the grocery store just at your leisure and just not become dizzy? That's possible for you. And what if dizziness wasn't a 24-hour thought process? What if it wasn't a hypervigilant, fear-inducing thing? What if it wasn't a 24/7 symptom? That is possible. What if you could be more present with your family and your loved ones at home and be able to go into work and feel like you can more easily participate in part of your community? It's the things like that, from big to small, that when you have vestibular disorder feels like it's just impossible. But it's very, very possible again. And I've seen it literally hundreds, if not thousands of times in vestibular group fit, just over and over and over again. So it's time to stop trying to treat yourself on YouTube. It's time to stop wondering why you're feeling dizzy all the time and not finding answers. It's time to stop blaming yourself for your vestibular disorder. It is never, ever, ever your fault that you're dizzy. And I'm here for you in that. I hear you, and I am here for you. And so is the rest of the vestibular group fit community. Like I said, it's the most encouraging, lovely, wonderful community of humans I have ever had the pleasure of talking to, of meeting. Like, I'm going to cry. I love that community. So it truly is the best place to be with a vestibular disorder. It's time to start strengthening your vestibular system, shifting your mindset, strengthening your body, and understanding your vestibular disorder and getting support that works for you. Now, all of these different symptoms and different things are going to be a journey, and that's okay. It's okay for it to be a journey. It's going to take time, right? So when you join Vestibular Group Fit, know that just joining it isn't going to be the end all be all of your symptoms. Joining is step one. Step two is you're going to watch the hello, welcome video. And then step three is you're going to start watching the content and you're going to start implementing the content on a regular basis. Those really simple 3 steps are going to implement these 4 steps: this mindset, movement, support, and education. So when you're ready, we're ready for you to join. And I want to tell you a story about Taylor. So this is her post. This is exactly copy and pasted. And it says, small backstory. We have a set of friends that is more like family. The husbands and I have been friends since we were 14 and I'm now 30. His wife quickly became my best friend when she came along 12 or so years ago. Her kids are my god kids and vice versa. Before I got sick, we did life together 100%. Dinner several times throughout the week, together every weekend, no questions asked, camping, boating, hiking, traveling, all the fun things. We didn't miss anything of each other's. That abruptly came to a halt when I got sick last April. And she doesn't include this, but for reference, she had migraine previously, and then long COVID, and then long COVID turned into vestibular migraine, turned into 3PD, turned into kind of some not being able to leave the house, things like that. So this all abruptly came to a halt when I got sick last April. Not them being our best friends, but just our lifestyle together. It crushed me and definitely had an impact on the kiddos. Our weekends turned into them coming here and reading on the couch most of the time, not seeing each other at all because it was just too much. But joining this group has done so much to getting me back to being present. Today, I just made it to see the youngest of my best friends to the baseball prince in a parade. So her best friend's youngest kid was the baseball prince in a parade and she got to go see. A couple of weeks ago, I got to go to the prom walk-ins for the oldest. I've been able to shop and go out to eat with my daughter again. I didn't miss a single volleyball game and only missed her cheerleading once all basketball season. I'm so grateful to be here, and here's some pictures of us throughout the years that bring me joy. I did not include those here for privacy reasons. Um, I haven't tackled hiking, boating, or camping yet, but I'm hoping to get back to it this year. She posted this in the winter, so we'll give her some, obviously, always some grace, but especially because it's winter. It's our favorite thing to do together. Tonight, we're having a cookout and game night with all the kiddos, and I'm so excited. If it weren't for stumbling across Madison on Instagram in December, I'd still be in bed, terrified to move my body. Thanks for all you do for us. And that is something that's so important to understand is you can go from bedbound 100% in bed all day, every day, post-COVID with vestibular migraine to this. Going out, not thinking twice about it. Does she have days that are harder? Yes. I'm not going to say that everything is ever going to just be rainbows and butterflies forever, but she has put in the mindset work, put in the movement work, asked for support where she needed it, and has been educated in all of these things. So truly, it's phenomenal. The next one I'm going to show you is Brandy. Brandy was an original Vestibular Group Fit member. Long post. Today is my dizzyversary. 1 year ago, I developed vestibular neuritis after a bad respiratory infection. Knocked me down as it does to many people. My anxiety shot through the roof. I felt like I was dying every single second of the day. In the beginning, I had to crawl from room to room. I was in a real bad place. Constant ER visits, seeing specialist after specialist. In 4 months in, I found these amazing ladies. I embraced vestibular fit wholeheartedly, gave it my all. I did the workouts, listened to all the lives, practiced all the modules, and was getting better day by day. My life was coming back to normal. By 8 months post vestibular neuritis, I had developed vestibular migraine. And this is something that is so common. I cannot stress to you enough how much neuritis turns into migraine. And it put me into a bad place again. I got hit with severe depression. I could barely get out of bed. I was tired and struggling through my life, but Madison and Jenna were there every step of the way. 2 people who wouldn't let me give up on myself. Now, here I am at my 1 year mark, 100% better. And when I say 100%, I mean it. Thank you for helping this girl get her life back. I could not have done it without you. Your journey has just started, and never give up. These ladies will do whatever they can to see you get a balanced life again. Don't quit. Cheers to dizzy-free days. And Brandy, that is just such a phenomenal, phenomenal transition. And that's something that Brandy wants for everyone. And of course, this is something that I want for everyone. So let's get into who this is for. I need to take a deep breath. Truly, all of these stories just, I remember every post, every moment of this group. Like, if you are in vestibular group fit, I know you. I know your diagnosis. I know what's going on. I know if you're having a bad day. I know. I'm like, I don't know, Santa Claus of the group. Like, I know when you're asleep. And no, I'm just kidding. But I do know your diagnosis, what you're going through, XYZ. So, who is this method for? If you're searching for an all-in-one solution to your dizziness, like you want to learn about your dizziness, you want to manage the dizziness, you want to be sent to the right places, this is for you. If you want an option that doesn't necessarily include more medication, if you're on meds, I love it. Keep at it. If you want to start meds, definitely do that with your doctor 100%. But if you also want an option that is lifestyle, this is for you. If you are ready and willing to put in the daily work and effort to heal your dizziness and vestibular disorder, I'm not going to lie to you. Just like Brandy said, she threw herself into this wholeheartedly, right? There is going to be a time and a place every day where you're like, I've got to put this into practice. I've got to do this, and I'm going to be very intentional every day for the next however many months. Someone who I didn't include in this slide, she's like, she started with a debilitating dizziness, university student, right? We talked about Alex at the beginning. And yesterday she sent a message to the group that said, today I had a dropping sensation inside, which is really common in vestibular migraine. And she said, oh my gosh, it surprised me. It really caught me off guard. And she said, my mindset shift was, let me catch you off guard. I'm going to do grounding and breathing. And I almost laughed off my chair. Like, that is so amazing and hilarious. And it really goes to show what kind of joy and humor you can start to bring towards dizziness. That is so helpful in healing. She got straight A's last semester. So truly amazing. Will this work for me? This is something that I hear all the time. I have spent thousands of dollars and I've seen every doctor. I have tried everything. Why is this different? This is different because it is all the things at one time. It is every single day is an accountability system. It's not like going to rehab once a week, twice a month, twice a week, something like that. And your PT says, okay, like do these things. And then like, I'll see you in 2 weeks, right? That's not an accountability system. I own a vestibular rehab clinic. I love vestibular rehab. I live and breathe vestibular rehab. This is not that. I'm never going to give you medical advice, but I am going to give you the way to educate yourself and the way to shift your whole life to live with dizziness in a way that makes it so you're like, if I have a flare, I know what to do. If I'm having a good day, I'm going to do this. I know how to move again. I know how to groove again. I know how to go to the grocery store, insert thing here. And it's phenomenal. So what does it cost? The regular price for it is $59.99 a month if you pay month to month. You will get a discount for watching this today on a 3-month subscription with the coupon code DIZZY at checkout, which means it's a 3-month subscription for $150, which means only $50 a month. So it's $9.99 off. Okay. So you're saving a ton of money because it's already discounted a lot. What is $59.99 times 3? I don't know, but it's not $150. $150 is about $30 less. So that's important to know. And you're also going to get the free Better Balance ebook, which is worth $75, and a free 14-day single leg stance challenge worth $50. So you get a lot of bonuses and extras for signing up for that 3-month subscription with that coupon code, which is exciting. So questions, do I have to sign up for a long-term commitment? Nope, absolutely not. We understand that everyone has different needs and means, which is why we offer different subscription options, which are month to month, 3-month, and annual. You get a lot more bang for your buck with the 3-month or the annual. The month to month is the most expensive month to month, but If you're like, I'm just going to do this for 1 month, you can do that. But I also will say that if you're like, I'm going to do this for 2 weeks and then I'm going to stop, this program is not for you. And I'm just going to say that straight up. I don't want to take your money. I don't want to swindle you out of something that's not going to work for you. If you're not going to put in the effort and put in the work in this for at least a couple of months, it typically is not as effective. So do know that going in. That's just something I should disclaim at the beginning. What time are classes? So live workout classes happen every single day, and they're either at 9 a.m. and or 10 a.m. Eastern time. So that's New York City time. However, they're also recorded and can be accessed at any time of the day. And you can access all previous classes as well. So everything is recorded. Whether or not you have a Facebook account does not matter. You can access all the classes 24/7 through the website. What if I don't have a diagnosis? Dizziness, chronic, acute, whatever it is generally treated the same from a comprehensive, holistic point of view, rather than like medicine point of view, right? I'm never going to prescribe you medicine. I'm not a medical doctor. That's not my shtick. But no diagnosis is needed to benefit from the work that we're doing in vestibular group fit. So come with one, come without one. It's totally up to you, and we'll get you started on that healing. How do I access the group materials? All workouts and premium content are accessed through the login portal at the website, which is going to be sent directly to your email when you sign up, so long as there are no typos or anything like that. I mean, barring mistakes, which happen, I will help you with that. But once you purchase your subscription, we'll send you an email with instructions on how to create your login information and access everything. And then we'll also send you an invite through our private support group on Facebook via that email as well. And again, what does it cost? Again, $59.99 a month, 3-month, $165, which you're going to save money on today, or annual, which is $605 a year, which saves you over $114. So 3-month subscription, again, use that code Dizzy at checkout. You'll also receive these bonus resources, which are the Better Balance ebook and the 14-day single leg stance challenge as well. So again, mindset, movement, education, and support. Those are the 4 pillars you need. And whether you do them with me or you do them with your vestibular therapist or you do them by yourself, it doesn't matter. But it is most effective when you have a group of people who are like-minded and focusing to work towards the same goals as you. And it works so well in vestibular group fit. Remember, we talked about at the beginning about meeting my patients and clients, Michelle, Joyce, and Alex, right? This college student, she's literally getting straight A's now. And we're getting all the way to Taylor, who went from post-COVID, vestibular migraine, 3PD, not able to get off the couch or leave the house, to literally doing everything she wants. And Brandy, who reports she's 100% better. And these are literally copy and pasted from the Facebook group. Like, these are real, it's copy and pasted. So I'm so excited for you to be here. If you need anything from me, my name is Dr. Madison. Again, it's madison@thevertigodoctor.com. For any questions you may have, you can email me 24/7, and I'll always get back to you about any question, comment, concern about all things dizziness or vestibular group fit. So thank you so much for listening, and hopefully I'll talk to you soon. I'll see you in the group. Bye.